Hi YouTube, this is Aisha and this is going to be a book recommendation video. These are going to be featuring different um, genres and different age groups. This one is going to be featuring dragons. So I love reading dragon stories, and first dragon story I ever read was Jagans Beat by Vivian Van Velde, and it's a really tiny book, but I love the heck out of the story. Really, really enjoy it. Love Vivian's writing. Love the characters. Love the dragon. Um, this is a revenge tale. It's a YA middle grade, but with hints of older things in there. I would definitely say YA. Not so much middle grade. This is a revenge tale. She's given as bait to the dragon, and the dragon doesn't quite do what they expect it to do. Totally just hit myself in the face with that. But this is one of my favorite books when I was younger. I still love rereading this. I read it once a year. Love it. Another one that I love to read is a romance one, and this is a series, and this is called Smoke Thief by Shayna Abe. And this is Smoke Thief by Shayna Abe. This has to be one of my first forays into adult versions of dragons. This was so good. This is a romantic tale. Shayna Abe does wonderful stories. She redoes like The Last Mermaid, talking about different fairy tale characters and creatures. Well, Smoke Thief happens to be about a very daring jewel thief, and this jewel thief takes on a dragon, and she learns the hard way what happens when you steal from dragons. Very good, very funny. It's in the Victorian era. Um, so good. One of my favorite books about dragons. The next one, I should probably put these in order, but I don't care to. The next one I'm going to talk about is Witchlight by L.J. Smith, which is it's a book in the Night World series. This one has a dragon, and this dragon is not the best of dragons, but it is a kick-ass dragon nonetheless. In this world, all the creatures of the night exist. Witches, good witches, bad witches, vampires, the very first vampire, the very first created vampire, the very first born Lamia, which is a vampire who's born a vampire and can stop their aging. Dragons, the descendants of dragons, and shapeshifters. So in this world, at one time, shapeshifters ruled the earth and grew humans as their pets. And then one of the most powerful witches put them all down, put the dragons into the ground and buried them with a spell. And her descendants have kept that spell going. And she only let one dragon live, and that dragon was the youngest dragon and, of course, the weakest one. And her descendants, the descendants of that dragon, have the ability to pick one shape at any point in time. And once you pick a shape, that's your shape. So there are shapeshifters who are born, like you were cats or lions or dogs, you're born that way. And then the descendants, the royal family of the dragons, have the ability to pick one shape. Before, the dragons could pick any shape. But the witch, to keep them from running wild, gave them one shape and one shape only. And this book follows a young woman whose job it is to protect a witch descendant and a descendant of the dragon, because the night world needs them to get married to keep peace between the houses. And it's just a wonderful tale. I really, and you guys can see I clearly love the series. I'm going into far more detail than I did for any of the other books. And I love Vivian Van Velde's book. This book, however, the Night World series, was one of my favorite series to read. I died waiting for these books when I was a kid. I was in junior high and high school when they started coming out. And I just could not wait until the next one came out, and the next one, and the next one. And I'm still waiting for the very last book to come out. LJ Smith, come on, man. Stop torturing us. The next one's going to be a fun, quirky series, and that is a series by Katie McAllister. And there is quite a few books in the Aslan Grady series. And then I believe there's a spin-off, but these are the three that I own. I kind of stopped reading after this, but I do want to get back into the series. I can vouch for these three. And there's You Slay Me, Fire Me Up, and Light My Fire. And these follow Aslan Grady, who gets a job in England and goes to England, and she's so funny and quirky, and hilarity ensues. In the process of working in England, she managed to ensnare a dragon lord and tumble into the world of the dragons. Now she's got ghosts following her and a demon lord that's obsessed with her, and these dragon eligible dragon bachelors who are chasing her. There's the light dragons, the red dragons, and I think the silver dragons, and everyone's trying to get her on their side because her talents are something that has never been seen before, and it's just so funny, quirky, hilarity. It's like Bridget Jones with dragons. Funny stuff happens in every book. I crack up reading these all the time. Katie McAllister always makes these really great romantic comedy books. I can vouch for these three in the Aslan Grady series. Love it to death. Definitely going to be getting the rest of them and definitely checking them out. The next three are from the Christine Feehan Carpathian series. And what Christine Feehan does, the Carpathian series is an entire race, and they're from Carpathian Mountains. But as she writes the books, she writes them in about 3 or 4 groups. So there's like one family, there's like the royal family, then there's Grigori and his family, and then there's like the different hunters and the twins and their families, you know, different sets of twins. There's Lucien, and there's Gabriel, and then there's Aiden and his brother and their mates. So what she did was the Dragon Seeker line, and this line is one of the most powerful lines in the Carpathian world, and they're, yes, I totally enjoy the Carpathian series. If you haven't read it, you don't have to start at the beginning. You can start anywhere in the series, just as long as it's, you know, in each grouping. So there are, you know, the Dragon Seeker, the Dragon line, then there's like the Royal line, which is the very beginning. Or you can start from the very beginning and read your way through. But the Dragons part is my favorite part. So Dark Demon, Dark Curse, and Dark Storm. There's some sci-fi ones with you that I have read and can vouch for. And there is, you'll see like 2 or 3 authors that I tend to stick to. And this is Mercedes Lackey and Andre Norton. I can vouch for just about anything Mercedes Lackey when it comes to sci-fi and dragons and griffins, because she just writes amazing stories. But this is the Elven Blood series, and there's about 4 of them, I believe. I don't have all of them, so I can't tell you about all of them. I do know this one was very good, and it pulled you in. Mercedes Lackey writes extremely well. I'm not sure who Andre Norton is, because the writing is just so well done. Very sci-fi, very high fantasy, very worth it. Because, I mean, just look at the dragons. Next one is Barbara Hambly's Jagans Beat. And this one I can't actually vouch for because I haven't actually read it. But this one is another dragon book. And it's a series, and everyone I knew who is into sci-fi has enjoyed this. So I need to get on reading it. But yeah, Barbara Hambly. And the next one, of course, Dragons in the title. And this is Dragon Prince by Melanie Ron, and this is an entire series. There's about 5 or 6 books. This is a high fantasy. as you can tell. Lots of detail, lots of world building, extremely well done. They live in a world where dragons once existed, and dragons have left different principalities with powers, and people are attempting to, this young couple becomes the new dragon prince and the new dragon queen, and someone is attempting to corrupt their power and usurp their power, and it follows them and several other characters throughout the series, and it's just awesome sauce. Love Melanie Ron's writing, and really good for high fantasy. Now the next and last one that I'm going to tell you is, of course, an erotica. I wouldn't be the Bewitching Bibliophile if I didn't share an erotica too. And this one's called Enter the Dragon, and it's by Elora's Cave, and it's Teal St. Clair, Madison Hayes, and Millen Hearn. I've read several books by Teal St. Clair with dragons that are featured from the Elora's Cave line of erotica books, and I highly recommend her. Phenomenal writing. This series is really good. I got this at BEA 2012 or 2013. I think it's BEA 2012, and it's 3 authors, 3 different stories. I've read other books by Teal St. Clair featuring dragons, and I thoroughly enjoyed her writing. I can vouch for her. The other ladies, while I enjoyed their stories, I've never read anything else by them, so I don't know if they write other dragon series, but I really enjoyed this one. This one features dragons and their mates in, of course, erotic settings. Never thought of dragons the way I read them in this series, and if you want an erotic dragon reading, definitely check out Elora's Cave for, you know, that. So there you have it. Those are all my dragon books and dragon ideas and dragon themed books. Do you have, if you've got dragon themed ideas and books that you know of and you think I should check out, whether high fantasy or regular romance, romantic comedy, or erotica, leave it in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much, and thanks for watching. Goodbye! Oh God, oh no, don't fall. And this is my file. Here be the dragons.